So I'm sitting here on my bedroom floor in Italy, and we're gonna be doing a race review for Barcelona, which I would classify as one of the most toughest race weekends of my life. I made errors here and there. There were some highs and lows, and so let's get to it. I think Barcelona will always, kind of hold a special place in my heart because it was the first Grand Prix track I've driven on. And so I think coming into the weekend, I was like, I'm gonna do great. It's a track I know, it's a track I'm gonna nail. And I reviewed a lot. I knew the braking points, turning points, this and that. We came into FP1 and FP2, and actually we were P2. So I think that really showed our pace for the weekend and what we had under our pockets. But then qualifying came, and I think it was because of the change of the track condition. I was over pushing like hell. I just really bottled it up, and I think that was the main reason why the weekend kind of went downhill. I wasn't able to compose myself, knowing with the pace at which I really was able to have. And it was really disappointing because it was the first qualifying that I kind of messed up. So I guess from then on it was just constantly trying to go forward instead of already being forward and just maintaining it, which made the weekend very difficult. So race 1, I think it was one of our most decent races in the whole of the weekend. Qualifying P6 for the race, and we made up a lot of positions. Actually, we did have the pace. We put on the half new set of tires. With this, I had lots of confidence to make really good passes. For the whole half of the race, I was really behind, Marta, my teammate, and I was just trying to prepare a really good pass, but in the end, she defended really, really well. I have to give that to her. I think everyone knows Barcelona to be a track that's very hard to pass because of the steering wash you get when you're really behind someone. On the last lap in T10, we were side by side mid-corner on the exit. We were like this the whole time, and down to the checkered line or checkered flag, we were battling it out. So I think it was honestly a really, really good fight. Unfortunately, I was mentally really beat up for that, missing out on the podium. We gained positions, but in the end, we deserved a lot more with the pace that we had. I wasn't able to do anything about it. And then we head on to my most unfortunate, disappointing race of the weekend. A lot of mistakes were made. I let my emotions get to me because of missing out on the podium in race 1. I was just really eager to, fight for it, get a win in race 2, reverse grid. I was starting really in the front, so I knew that I had a really good contention to fight for it in the front or even a win. Unfortunately, I made a very big error that costed me pretty much the whole race. I stalled. I came off the clutch too quickly and boom, stalled. And because of this, I was last, and I had to really catch up to the cars in front, to the pack in front. And from P15, made it up to P10, fighting within the top 10. And on the last lap, I made a really good move down into T10, but unfortunately the driver didn't leave me enough space, and we collided. And in that crash, I also took out my teammate with me, Chloe, which I'm very, very sorry for. I'm sorry, Chloe. I love you. I was really just driven by my emotions, maybe a bit too much, and that's why I made those mistakes. But yeah, I learned from them. I think that's what the series is all about, is to highlight those mistakes and to really learn from them, which I did. I was called up into the steward's office. We watched the footage from every angle. In the end, I didn't get any penalty, and it was called a racing incident. It was really a race for me. I remember coming back into the pits and the team and my engineer, and really disappointed because they knew I could have done a lot better. Just wake up. And it was just like that. And race 3 was kind of just a domino effect of the mistakes I made in race 2. Because of the incident I had, it meant that I completely ruined my tires because we have to use only a few set of tires every weekend. And so that meant that I had to drive with really, really, really messed up tires because of the spin, contact. I didn't have a lot of extra amount of tires to use for race 3, and that was the reason why I lacked pace. I was just really understeer, no grip at all, and I still did my best to hold on to get some points. No, not really points, because I finished P10, which is 1 point. That's what it is. It was a tough one to swallow because of how high we started the weekend, P2, and then boom, boom, boom. But yeah, I owned up to my mistakes, and I learned from them, and I think that was the highlight of the weekend. I think for me personally, in moments like this, I learned to be even more grateful for the opportunity that I have. I think gratitude is a very important lesson that a lot of young kids learn. And in motorsport, you tend to be ungrateful because I had a bad race, this and that, and then you kind of forget the beginnings, where you came from and how far you've gotten in your career. When I made those mistakes, I was just thinking, on to the next. I want to fight back. I want to get better. I want to improve. I want to learn. I think there was a moment during that time when I was just taking off my suit after the race, where I was just thinking that, man, I really am thankful that I even have an opportunity to learn again, to correct my mistakes on the next race, because not many kids, get to have another chance, and I do have another chance to keep on improving. I think motorsport, sometimes we make a lot of mistakes, and we often forget that it takes two to tango, that we're not just driving for ourselves, but driving with a lot of people around us. And whenever we crash or make mistakes like that, we always have to be grateful that we can walk away from the car and keep fighting the next day and the next race. So yeah.